Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. You're listening to me, Ethan Van Sciver, 29-year veteran of the comic book industry. That's right. I've been working in comics since 1993, telling stories of Green Lanterns and cyber frogs and just having a great time. Really enjoying myself because that's who I am. I am somebody who naturally, who was born to do this. I was born to be a communicator. I was born to be a storyteller. I was born to be a star. Well, maybe not that far, but anyway, I love it. I love comics. It's fun. I like to tell you guys stories. I like to tell you guys stories in comic book form and right here on YouTube. And I think everybody that I've surrounded myself, for the most part, throughout my entire life, shares my hobby, shares my passion, shares my instincts, and shares the love of comic books and comic book storytelling. And I'm glad for that. I've been very, very lucky my whole life. And yet, I will say that it wasn't until recently that I started to notice a new poisonous trend seep into the comic book hobby and fandom and industry. It was something that was presented initially as maybe this is going to be good for business, guys. Maybe we need to be more inclusive. Maybe we need to do this or that. We'll sell comics to more people who are only avoiding comics. The reason why some people out there who look differently than you, Ethan, are not reading comics is because the comics don't look like them. And I said, "What do you mean?" They said, "Well, maybe there need to be more people of color. Maybe there need to be more women. Maybe there need to be more homosexuals. Maybe that'll attract more people." And you, Ethan, as a capitalist, you certainly do. You know money, right? You don't want to leave their money on the table. I'm like, they don't have any money. Lesbians don't. They don't. They work at Burger King. No, I didn't say that. Anyway, yeah. I mean, this was the argument. This was the argument for a long time that we need to be more inclusive and that was a lie. That was a trap. That was an excuse. Basically, that was the introduction of tribalism back into our society, into our hobbies. Much greater, I think, and much more profound, much more intensely concentrated than ever before. Now, it's no longer about how can we all blend together as one. How can we be Americans, or how can we form a society where we appreciate each other's differences but still want to work together? Now it's more about how can more people who think like me, how can more people who look like me, how can more people who vote like me, how can more people that bang like me uh, be introduced into this fandom, into this hobby, into this industry, so that my natural tribe, the tribe that I feel like I belong to, based on my immutable characteristics, has more power, more standing in this business. Frankly, I think it's done terrible things. I think it hasn't been good for comic books. I think it hasn't been good for this country. I think it hasn't been good for business. And I think it's a real shame. I think it's actually been it's had a corrosive impact on people's hearts. Bounding into Comics, a website that I often agree with, especially when they say nice things about me, had this article up recently. Let me take a look at it with you here. I was already taking a look at it. This is VITA Ayala here. She's a writer for Marvel Comics. Oh no, for DC Comics. Does she still work for Marvel? She did work for Marvel. DC Comics writer. Now DC is lucky enough to have gotten Vita Ayala to work for them. DC Comics writer Vita Ayala exposes her her bigotry. Okay, so it's not that good. Says no cis dudes should apply for associate editor position at Marvel. You might say, "What? I'm not Ethan. I don't go on Twitter. Ethan, I don't go on Facebook. I'm not somebody who usually hangs out on Tumblr. What in the world is a cis dude? What's a cis dude? It doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound like I am somebody who wants to be a cis dude. And I was no, you do. You do want to be a cis dude. Trust me, you want to be a cis dude. Cis means it's a way of othering 98.9% of the population of planet Earth from themselves. They want to create a label that says these are the other people. Okay, we're these people. They're the other people. Cis people, normies, people who do not suffer from gender dysphoria or any of these things, who are what they look like, are cis people. You look like a man. You are a man inside. You are personally saying that you are a man, a male. You are cis. And the same thing applies to women. You are a cis woman. Everyone else who feels differently from how they look, they are something other than cis. All right, so no cis dudes. That's 98.9% of the world should apply for associate editor position at Marvel. I'm intrigued. Tell me more, Ayala. I don't know what that. They're going to just misuse her. I'm sure I don't know what her pronouns, her preferred pronouns are. So I'm just going to read the article and I'm just going to basically say fuck it. I don't know. I'm not going to attempt to figure it out. DC Comics writer Vita Ayala, who is currently writing Nubia and the Amazons. Nubia, that's like there was a black Amazon. Her name was Nubia. They almost made a Barbie doll. Mego sucked, man. Mego had a Wonder Woman line of a Barbie doll kind of style toys for girls during the Linda Carter Wonder Woman show when Wonder Woman was so popular. And Mego couldn't get it together to put those action figures out. That is why All Caps Comics is way better than Mego ever was. We actually do put our Cyberfrog toys out. We can get it done. We would have gotten that done. There would have been a Nubia Barbie doll out there right now if it were up to All Caps Comics. Anyway, Wonder Woman and Batman Urban Legends exposed her bigotry when she declared that no cis dude should apply for an associate editor at a position at Marvel. Deja vu. I feel like I just read that. Here is a beautiful cover here. I actually like this. This looks good. Ayala's comments came in response to former Marvel.com writer Angelique Roche sharing a link to an associate editor position for Marvel.com. They're out there trying to get people to apply to work for Marvel. The job description, which has now been removed from Disney's website, stated Marvel Entertainment is seeking a pop culture expert to join Marvel Digital Media in the role of an associate editor. Responsible for the creation and curation of content on Marvel.com, the associate editor must be an expert in the Marvel Universe with deep knowledge of Marvel characters across comic books, video games, and more, in addition to the larger universe of fandom. So that's the description. That sounds fine. So those are the qualifications that you must have. It doesn't say anything here about, and you must also not be cisgender. You must also have this pigment of skin color. You must also be something other than heterosexual. The former New Mutants and Champions writer at Marvel, so I guess she doesn't write for Marvel anymore. I didn't know that. Responded to Roche tweeting, "Black and brown people, especially femme people, please apply." And these are praying hands. These are like, please apply for this position. Interesting. Why? In a follow-up tweet, Ayala wrote, "The fact that people are angry that I tweeted that black and brown people should apply and call it racism is funny and sad at the same time. I hope they figure themselves out sometime soon because they're only telling on themselves with that nonsense." Well, strictly speaking, it is racism. It is racism when you're speaking not to individuals based on their qualifications or who they are as people, but when you're identifying them by the skin color and treating them differently or talking to them differently or telling them what to do because of the color of their skin, that is racism. I'm not making a judgment call about it. I mean, look, it might be okay for you to say that. There might be valid reasons. There aren't. It's just tribalism. But that's the way it is. I mean, again, if you just replace your tweet, white people, especially heterosexual men, please apply, and then hands praying, but they're white people's hands. You would feel like there's no difference. I mean, there's absolutely no difference, in what was said here, except for the fact that you would be unsympathetic towards my tweet, and that would be racism. It would definitely be racism. However, Ayala would make her bigotry and prejudice against cis dudes clear. There's no reason to be prejudiced against cis dudes. You'd have to go around hating everybody. You would have to hate, if you hated cis dudes, you would have to hate like 49.9% of planet Earth. You don't want to hate like that. You just don't want to. It's way too much hatred. It's way too much prejudice. You should love everybody. In a separate tweet, she wrote, "Black and brown people, queer people, people that are not cis dudes, and any combo of the above. If you are even a little curious," well, that word worries me, "about being an associate editor for Marvel, click through, apply, you're needed." Whew. All right. The qualifications as listed above. Let me just go through this again. Marvel's seeking a pop culture expert, okay, to join, to take this job. You will be responsible for the creation and curation of content on Marvel.com. You're going to be in charge of their website, the content on the website. You're going to have to, keep track of what's already there. The associate editor must also be an expert. You've got to be an expert in the Marvel universe. You have to have read like every Marvel comic. There are very few people like that out there. There just are. I mean, Mark Waid has read like every single Marvel comic, I'm sure. Jeff Johns is like an expert on DC Comics and DC Comics lore. He has read every single comic book. He really has. He's just an absolute encyclopedia of knowledge. There aren't too many people like that. There are some, but really, it's a rare thing for somebody to be that much of a fan that they've spent their entire life reading everything in comics. Deep knowledge of Marvel characters across comic books. Okay, that's one thing. But have you played all the video games? You know all the video game versions and more movies, TV, in addition to the larger universe of fandom. So you're going to have to be acquainted with and welcome in and liked by all aspects of Marvel Comics fandom. Now, this is a very unique, specific individual that they're searching for here. They are searching for a Jeff Johns. They are searching for some big nerd like Mark Waid. They're looking for that type of a person to fill this role, and they're rare. So to say, if you've even been a little curious about being associate editor for Marvel, click through. Apply. You are needed. No, you are not. You don't need to be a little curious, Vita. You need to be obsessed with Marvel Comics. You need to be somebody who has been praying their entire life for this job. You know everything about all of these characters, and this is the most important thing in the world to you. And it doesn't matter what your skin color is at that point. You are going to be a unicorn. You're not even going to be a human being. If you are the person that they're searching for, who really, really deserves that job, you are something else. You are a very rare individual indeed. You could be black or brown. You could be cis. You could not be. But the qualifications are what really matters here. We're trying to fill this job with a person who is right for the job. They're right for the job. So actually saying, if you're a little curious, that worries me. The idea of saying, look, you're probably going to, we need you to file for this job. We need you to apply for this job, because basically it's not about whether or not you're going to be good for the job. We just need a quota filled. We need more of people who look like me, more people who are from my tribe. We need more representation. Can you do the job? I don't think it really matters anymore. What is Marvel Comics now? What has Marvel Entertainment become other than a cooking channel? It's a really strange thing. It's a lifestyle brand now. But it seemed like there were specific qualifications they were seeking, and VITA doesn't seem to give a damn about any of that. Put aside the bigotry, the alleged bigotry. We're looking for people in comics, in this job specifically, but in a wider context. We're looking for more people like me. That's what we're looking for. That's who we need more of. That's going to shock you, because I am white, I am male, I am cisgendered. But comics have been my entire life. I'm not qualified for this job. I'm not an encyclopedia of Marvel Comics. But we need people who love comics, who are good at it, who do this with all of their heart, all of their passion, all of their might, and don't care. I don't care that Vita Ayala is brown and queer. It means nothing to me. I'm more interested in her books. I would read one Vita Ayala comic book and not even look at her name, and I would just kind of go, was that good? Huh. Hey, look at that. What's the book she's writing right now? Wonder Woman. She's writing Wonder Woman. Okay. Wonder Woman was really good. Interesting. I'm going to go read the next one. Well, it was good too. 3 comics in, 3 happy experiences with a Wonder Woman comic. I and most normal people are going to look at the name of the writer. That's reality. Most normal people don't even know who makes their comics. They only care if they're good. And at that point, we find out that it's Vita Ayala. And at that point, Vita Ayala becomes important to us. And it's not because Vita is brown and queer. And if any of those things are similar to our immutable characteristics, that makes her suddenly worthy of her job. It's about how good her comics are. In a moment of sheer irony, Ayala then accused her critics of bigotry while doubling down on her own. She tweeted, "Bigots loathe the idea of black and brown people, queer people, non-cis people, and any intersection of the above apply for this job." Bigots loathe the idea of, I don't know if that read right. They extra despise that I, an African, Puerto Rican, trans, non-binary person, it's just a string of adjectives, uh, identity-based adjectives. That's how these people think of themselves. Who works in the industry, am encouraging the above to apply. No, Vita, I promise you, I'm sure that you would consider me, you and your friends consider me to be king bigot, king of the bigots. I'm not. I don't have a prejudiced bone in my body. I love everybody. I love everybody based on whether or not they're a complete asshole. That's what disqualifies them. That's when I become mean, when they're assholes. But I love everybody, and I want everybody to succeed. I don't like this. I just say I don't like this tribalism. I don't think you like it either, really. I think you're doing it defensively. I think you're worried about fitting in. I think you're worried about your tribe. I think you're afraid of functioning in an industry that's largely made up of white males, white straight males, or it was. I don't know. I don't know what the. No, I think it still is. I think I think it's still mostly white straight males. They're holding it up. I think you're afraid. Don't be afraid, Vita. Be a good writer. Just be a good writer and encourage people to make Marvel Comics a better place to work and a better entertainment station just based on how much fun it is to read about superheroes. This is not fun. This is awful. Nobody wants to wade through this. Nobody wants these difficulties. Nobody wants this. What do I make of Ayala's tweets and her prejudice against cis dudes? I just said so. I think it's defensive, and I think it's very sad. I don't know, guys. Today, I got something simple for you. I've got a request. And Vita, this applies to you too, and anybody else who's watching this. Today, tomorrow, next week, find somebody, anybody that's different than you. Somebody that has made you feel ill will or even hateful. Somebody whose life decisions have made you uncomfortable. Somebody who practices a different religion than you. And somebody who's lost, maybe somebody who is addicted to a substance, somebody who is maybe homeless, somebody who's missing a limb, somebody who isn't as wealthy as you, or somebody that's richer than you, somebody with any kind of disability, or somebody who lives an alternate lifestyle, or somebody who you consider to be a menace because of the color of their skin, somebody who is outside of your tribe, and that might be a white straight male. I want you to reach out and put your arm around them. I mean, just do it. Just do it and tell them they're okay. Tell them that you're going to be their friend. Tell them that you love them, especially if it's me. Tell me you love me. If you want to make a real change in the world, that's where this is going to start, guys. That's how we're going to do it. We're going to actually reach out to people who are different than us, people who are not a part of our tribe, and we are going to change the world that way. We are going to reject this tribalism. We're going to reject identity politics. We are going to love people because of who they are inside, what they're capable of, and we're going to lift each other up. That's what we want. That's what Comicsgate is about. And see my hat, Comicsgate? Proud of it. Love it. This is toxic. A focus on identity, a focus on tribalism is toxic. It isn't going to make the world a better place. It's going to make the world a far worse place. So that's what I would like to see happen today. And I extend that invitation to Vita Ayala. I extend that invitation to everyone who's watching this and hating right now, and there are quite a few people, trust me. Just be better people. That's all I want to say. Thank you for watching. I want to invite you guys, those of you who are interested in my comics and want to find out more about it. We do have an eBay store, and the eBay store is linked in the description below. And you will get whatever you buy. If you buy a Cyberfrog comic or a baseball cap or a T-shirt or one of the PVC figures, you're going to get it pretty quickly. We're going to put it in the mail the same day that you order it, and you will have it probably in 2 days. We ship everything priority. Also want to invite you guys to check out Cyberfrog, the Blood Honey box. This is my new campaign on Indiegogo, or my latest campaign. Cyberfrog Blood Honey, the first issue of Cyberfrog, has pretty much sold out the first printing. We had to go to a second printing, and while we were doing that, we made a matching box. We made this beautiful store folio, magnetic store folio. This is an object that you're going to be so happy with this. It's laser etched with foil and everything. It's really gorgeous. You can store your comic books in there, and you can grab a copy of the second printing in our silver foil or ghost edition, white embossed sculpted. These are beautiful, beautiful comics. They have been relettered. They are on much nicer paper than the first book was on. And they contain an extra 20-page backup story, 1998, The Diary of Heather Swain. I want you to take a look at that, and please do support this channel. Subscribe. Join this channel. We need you here. Subscribe. Like this video. Share this video. I will see you again soon. I will. I'll see you again soon with another video. Take care.
My name is Heather Swain. Philadelphia has always been my home. Life was good until it happened. I'm friends with a cybernetic enhanced human-like frog created to save Earth. Nobody appreciated or understood him, but I did. We were good friends who enjoyed hanging out with a bucket from the chicken fry. Just me, Cyberfrog, and his very large brother, Salamandroid. Until the invasion hit. They rained from the sky. These space invader giant hornets attacked everyone, killing more than could stay alive, and covered the earth with giant blood honey hives. They can't fly near trees, so we hid in the woods, burning endless fires to keep them away, wearing red so they can't see and kill us all. The last time I saw Cyberfrog, he told me he'd track me down. But it's been decades, and there's been no sign of him. Yet I can't shake the feeling he is not gone. I believe he will return again. We need Cyberfrog and his brother Salamandroid to return and fight off these invaders, to take back our wrecked planet so we can live without fear. If you see my friend Cyberfrog, tell him I need him. We need him to save the world. This is Cyberfrog Wrecked Planet. Join the fight.